I'm just excited to be here because me this time last year would have given anything to be where I'm at now mentally because I was not in a good place, but I am now. And that's exciting. So I just hope that this gives you a little bit of hope if you feel stuck or lost or like you're just floating around. I saw a video of myself this morning that I came across and it broke my heart. I I was so lost. I was in the thick of it. And it really put things in perspective where I'm at now. And I'm really grateful for everything that's happened since then. But it just really made me realize that, man, I never, ever, ever thought that I was going to be able to get on the other side of what I was feeling 9 months ago. The video was from November of last year, which obviously, seasonal affective depressive disorder, but also I just had a lot of stuff going on. Like my life was imploding. It was catastrophic to the point that I had absolutely no idea where I was going to be living, who I was going to be with, who I was, what my business was going to be, I was at a place where I was shedding everything. And if you want to talk about, the Chinese zodiac, like that was obviously the year of the snake. And boy, did I shed. And I think that that was kind of universal for a lot of people. Alternatively, this year being the year of the Yang fire horse, like the shit's taking off. And when I say that my outside circumstances really haven't changed that much. So it's really fascinating to realize how differently I feel and how in turn my external world is syncing up to that frequency. Like I was just so lost. I was in such a transitional period. I was in the middle of what felt like, it was like a limbo place. Nothing was certain. And I'm going to say even now, like things are not super certain, but the thing that has changed significantly since then is my mindset and my energy and what I prioritize. I, in the past, used to not let myself do the things that I wanted to do because I thought I had to earn it, that I had to, do everything that I needed to do first before I was allowed to earn the things that I wanted to do. Hobbies, seeing friends, spending time with my kids sometimes got put on the back burner. And like, I just realized I had that shit backwards. Like, now that I am letting myself do things that I used to think that I had to earn or deserve, I finished a puzzle the other day. I haven't done a puzzle in years. And I did a puzzle. I've allowed myself to read for fun and not just for growth. I went to go to the pool the other day. I was just there. I was just enjoying my time. And to some people that might sound, well, that doesn't sound that crazy. For me, that's crazy because I was operating from a place of everything having to be producing something. Everything had to have an outcome that was worthy instead of just existing to exist. The fact that I was in a place that I thought I was never going to get out of. I thought I was never going to be out of those pits of despair. I felt like I was in the dark night of the soul for so long. And I kept thinking I was getting out of it, kept thinking I was getting out of it. And it just kept going and going like the fucking Energizer bunny. And then it was like it was magic and it just like something clicked. It's like everything finally compounded. All of the shit that I had flooded into my brain and shoved in there finally started clicking, but only because I started feeling from here and operating from here and not from here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I finally got to a place where my priorities were straight. And there's still, there's still a little residue there. There's a lot, actually. Excuse me. But there's a lot of residue left over. There's, I don't know, like I still have these habits that are really hard to break, such as just feeling like I always have to be doing something. And once I start something, I'm not able to stop because I'm like, oh, if I don't finish this now, I'm not going to come back to it. Like there's times where in the past, and still this happens, but I'll be like, I can't go to the restroom because I'm going to get thrown off task of what I'm doing because I didn't trust myself to come back. And I think that's what it boils down to. I think that I'm finally coming to a place of honoring and trusting myself because my struggles and my shortcomings are not a lack of knowledge. If it's not obvious, I am diagnosed with ADHD and self-diagnosed with autism. So take that as you will. But I have a really hard time with executive dysfunction. I have a really hard time when people tell me what to do, including myself. Like when I tell myself to do something. And I think that that's part of it too, where it's like I'm coming at a place now where I'm not telling myself to do things anymore. Like I'm honoring the pull instead of avoiding the pull. For a long time, my business was something that I just kind of like happened into. It wasn't something that I like consciously curated to get into. And it became excruciating to my nervous system because it was not aligned. And I think that I'm just somebody that's extremely sensitive to alignment or lack of alignment. And that's really where I'm at right now, is just like honoring that alignment. And I think that goes hand in hand with the self-trust stuff. It's really wild, to look back and have seen that video that I recorded, and I haven't looked at it since then. You know what? I think I'm actually going to include that in this video right now.
I'm literally sick to my stomach with how much uncertainty there is in my life right now. Like, absolutely nothing resembles anything that it did weeks or months ago. And, like, everything is uprooting. Everything is turning upside down. Everything feels empty and uncertain. And I know that it's all lessons. I get that. But, like, the weight of it is so heavy. I hate it. I fucking hate it. As a control freak, especially. I'm just exhausted. I wish I had some clarity on something, like any aspect of it. I don't know where my money's coming from. I don't know who I'm going to be with, or if I'm even going to be with anybody in a month or 2 or 10. I don't know what my house will look like. I don't know where I'm going to live. Everything is uprooting.
See what I mean? That shit was sad. That made me sad. Watching that this morning, realizing that that's where I was not very long ago. In the time that it takes to create and birth a baby, because it's in almost the end of July now. I think that's right, about 9 months. Yeah, it's 9 months. And, so much has changed. So much has changed. I had no idea if I was going to be living in this house. I had no idea if my partner and I were going to stay together. And we have. And it's a night and day different relationship, I'll be honest with you. I think that was a huge proponent to I don't even want to call it healing. I want to call it evolution, my self-excavation. I think that that's more so what I've been doing. I haven't been trying to become a better person. I've been trying to uncover my truest self. And I swear to God, I need to let this cat. Hold on. Bro. Come on. incessant. Okay. Where was I? What it boils down to is I was trying to come from a place of knowing everything. And I think that when I finally settled into the fact that I wasn't going to know everything and that I wasn't going to be able to control the situation and the outcome and I had to surrender. And I did. I did surrender. And it got to a place where I finally have become this like version of myself that I like myself. And I feel like I'm finally getting to that place of like, it wasn't for nothing. The pain and the disillusionment and the dissociation and and years prior, other things that have happened to me in the past, like everything's starting to make sense. The cliche, hindsight is 2020. For real, for fucking real. Things make sense only in the future. Like nothing makes sense when you're trying to understand it from in the place. I can really only dissect what's happened in the past. But at the same time, detaching from the past, like there was a long time in my life where I was a victim. I played a victim mentality. And I feel like I grew out of that, pretty like much in my mid-20s, I would say. I finally realized that I was in control of how my life was going to go. That sure, I was handed some cards by my upbringing, by my family, who was great, by the way. I will never say that they did not do their best. They absolutely did. And I had an amazing childhood. But there are no perfect childhoods. Like, there's literally no such thing. So I feel like I've always said that adulthood is a bunch of little kids that are just trying to figure out their childhood. Like what happened to them in the first formative years. It's like it's unlearning all of that or outgrowing all of that, or not even outgrowing it, but uncovering all the masks that we've put on because of what we experienced as a child, whether it is dissociation or, addiction or people pleasing or hypervigilance, like there's so many ways that people cope with what happened to them as a child or a teenager or a young adult. And the excavation of all of that, the unlearning of all of that's the whole point to me, in my opinion. And I know we all have different values and we have different priorities. But to me, that's what life is all about, is the evolution of you and getting to know yourself. I really believe that we are one consciousness, filtered down into one mind, one perception. We came here on purpose. This was a conscious decision. I signed up for all of this shit, all of these lessons before I got here. And I believe you did too. So in a way, it's almost like, yeah, you did this to yourself. But I don't know. I feel like my life's work is my growth and being able to share that and maybe helping other people save a few steps in their journey, like the amount of people that I have watched that have helped me, click on some light bulbs and open up my perspective to things over the last 16 years of me, finally kind of waking up. And, it goes in phases, the spiral of coming back around to something when you're actually resourced enough to handle the situation once you get back to it. But it's always moving up. Patterns repeat themselves until you have the tools in your toolbox to be able to handle it or fix it or unprocess it. I feel like I've always been somebody that notices patterns and that sees the interconnectivity of everything in others, in myself. And it's the worst when you can see it happening and you know exactly what you're doing and you're so aware of it, but it feels like you're in the passenger seat and you're like, I just can't get myself to do the thing that I know that I need to do. Those defense mechanisms come up, those protective walls and masks and excuses and avoidance and all the things that get in the way of you being able to do what you feel pulled to do. Throwing distractions in the way. I am at a place right now where the universe just keeps, it's honestly comical. The universe just keeps throwing me things to test me. I swear to God, the amount of opportunities that have been presented to me, that old me would have been like, oh my God, heck yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Whether it's somebody, I do a lot of gig work. I do a lot of, we call it the patchwork quilt. My dad and I do, because number one, because I love quilting, but also because my income streams are from all over the place. Like, I have not had a job since the end of 2020. No, beginning of 2021. I started my reselling business at the end of 2020. I've just always kind of like made enough. Now, I've always gotten by. But in the last 6 years, I would say, the whole time that I've been, working for myself, pretty much, I've had this just deep, deep pull to share my message and talk to people and use my voice and speak on my experience. There's 7 billion, 8 billion people on the planet, and everybody, there's 8 billion stories in the world. And so somebody is going to relate to pieces of mine. And the amount of value that I've taken from other people sharing their stories, I just feel so called to do that. And I've, piddled with it here and there, but I just feel so ready to do it now and finally like get back in front of people and share my story. And it's just kind of crazy because I, for 6 years, was just, oh, well, that's not going to, turn a profit. I need to prioritize making money. I need to do the things that people are asking me to do, or that where I need to follow the money, chase the money, chase the money. But that left me burnt the fuck out. Like, oh my God, I was so burnt out. Like, it's been a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years now, and I feel like I'm finally coming out on the other side. I regressed. Like, I went from being highly capable, doing all of the things, even though I had a very supportive, helpful partner. Like, I was doing too much. But just because I can do it all doesn't mean I should have been doing it all. And I was. And I wore myself out. I completely shut down to where I couldn't even brush my teeth every day. I couldn't even, I was having, my hands were cramping up, nervous system stuff. Like, it was not fun. And it took me a really, really, really long time for my body to finally like come back online and like feel okay, and my jaw to unclench. And, like, I was just not in alignment is really what it boiled down to. And which is a lot of the reason that I'm just so adamant about that being my governing compass. That's what I am following. That's what I'm letting lead the way, because it's actually working where force did not, and hustle did not, and wearing myself out did not, and not being able to stop did not. And I'm finally coming from a place where I'm like, oh, that'll be there tomorrow. I can come back to that. I can say no to that person. Yeah, I could help that person clean their house or their basement or organize their stuff, or, sell that for them, or you name it. That's not the best use of my energy. That's not the best use of my time, because then I am putting my stuff on the back burner and putting other people's stuff on the front. And that's not my place. It's like, yes, I can help, but not when I'm not resourced enough myself. Like, I can't keep putting off all of my stuff because I've committed to everybody else's stuff. Coming back around to me saying the universe has been testing me. Like, I keep getting these offers, whether it's financially, it's pretty much all financially, like these gig things. And I'm just realizing, like, no, that's not really worth my time, because I realize that money is not the only resource. Money is infinite. My time and my energy are finite. They are not infinite. And I have learned that lesson hard over the last couple of years. I know how to read my limits and when I need to stop. And I'm finally honoring that. Like, I feel like I knew those things for a long time, but I feel like I'm finally honoring it now. And it just really has made a difference. But I feel like everything has been coming back around. Like, it's been very full circle. And I just know where I was a year ago and 2 years ago and 6 months ago and 9 months ago. If I knew that there was a light at the end of the tunnel, because I couldn't see it then, I was just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And the fact that I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel now is like, oh my God, I wasn't making it up. I wasn't delusional for believing that it could be better. And it's happening. And like I said, a lot of my external circumstances have not changed. It's all been internal. I would say like 90% of it. But that is the whole point, you know? It's like you got to hold it inside of you first for the outside stuff to be magnetized to you. And that's where I'm at. Like, I feel like I wanted to make this video because I wanted to let whoever is watching, I do believe that whoever needs to see this will see it. Like, if you're in the middle of that storm right now, like, it's a fucking shit storm, man. Like, it sucks. You don't know your direction. You don't know where you're going. You don't know who you're going to be or who you are. And like, you just feel like there's no hope. You feel like there's no way that you can actually get to a place of feeling secure in yourself again and recognizing your power and your, you know, your sovereignty and the fact that we do create our own reality. I hated hearing that for the longest time because it was like, yeah, you know, like if that was true, then I would just do it. But it's because I was trying to go about it in the wrong way. I was trying to think my way into what I wanted instead of feeling my way. And, you know, energetics are powerful and the law of attraction is real. Not to be all woo-woo, but I know that I'm at a place where I'm finally putting down the I can do everything mindset. And I'm just doing what I feel pulled and called to do. And the clouds are parting. And it's so exciting. And I never thought I'd be here. And it's just like, and like I said, like I still hardly have any money right now. Like I still have so much that I need to do in my house. I still have, you know, like a mile-long to-do list, but I'm not beating myself up about it and trying to make myself do everything right now. I realize that everything can't change overnight and that things come when it's time. You know, looking back, I realized that it was all worth it in terms of the being lost and confused and scared and unsure. And I had to shed so many identities and beliefs and habits. And so I was just in a recalibration period. And I feel like I'm finally in this place where I'm like, okay, like we've rebooted and now everything's kind of reinstalling or new upgrades are installing. Things aren't reinstalling, you know, like we got some updates happening and it feels really fucking good. Like I'm excited. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm really excited. I feel hopeful. I feel inspired. I feel empowered. I feel like I'm finally able to see me and what I'm capable of and not just know it. I'm able to like feel it and see it and embody it. And yeah, everything happens for a reason. Let's just spit all the cliches. Like everything happens for a reason. And I'm just excited to be here because me this time last year would have given anything to be where I'm at now mentally because I was not in a good place. Not in a good place, but I am now. And that's exciting. So I just hope that this gives you a little bit of hope if you feel stuck or lost or like you're just floating around. That's all I got to say.